Plaintiff Tiffany Chevalier says she and the defendant became fast friends and eventually became roommates. Tiffany claims she and the defendant soon started fighting, and once during an argument, the defendant shoved her. She's suing for unreturned property. Defendant Michael Melton says the first night he met Tiffany, they had sex, but once she moved in with him, he made it clear that he only wanted to be friends. Michael claims Tiffany still tried to have sex with him every single night, and he's countersuing because he claims Tiffany threatened him.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
State your name.
Tiffany Chevalier.
Sir?
Michael Melton.
All righty, ma'am. You're suing your former roommate. $5,000 for unreturned property?
Yes, sir.
And you're countersuing $2,000 for threats?
Yes, sir.
Start with you.
Well, back in November of 2021, Michael and I met. We became friends very quickly. I shortly decided to move into the house Michael was living in. Everything was going very well up until December 7th. On December 7th, me and the other roommate, we were hanging out together. Michael came home going off about category of women. He said there are 3 categories of women. He said there are hoes, ladies, and the B word. He said
And
that
what's the last one?
And the B word. He said that I would be in the category of the B word. I got super offended and decided not to forgive Michael. We fell out and became just roommates. Then fast forward to December 15th, the other roommate had moved out. Michael had promised me when that happened that I was able to move into that room upstairs. So I was moving my things upstairs to that room. Michael came home, he threw all of my stuff out. He started screaming in my face, shoving me, telling me that he never promised me that room and that there was gonna be another roommate moving into that room. So to keep the peace in the house, I decided to just stay downstairs. So on December 17th, I had left town to go to spend the holidays with my family. Michael called me that night asking me for the rent money. I told him where he could find it. He then told me that I was no longer welcomed at that house and kicked me out.
Where did you tell him he could find it?
I told him he could find it in the fridge of the door, Your Honor.
Of the what?
The fridge in the door.
Was you being funny with him?
No, I just didn't want anyone else to find it.
Nobody eats at your place, huh?
No, we eat good.
All right, no wonder y'all so slim. Nobody eat, the refrigerator's locked. It stays locked. They must if you're putting your money in there. All right, and let me hear some background from you, sir.
All right, so me and Tiffany met on a dating app on Tinder, and we hooked up the first night we met. After that, through conversation, I told her, I mentioned that I needed a roommate. My prior roommates moved out on me, and it was just me and my other roommate at the time. She allegedly needed a place to stay as well, so I was like, all right, well, you can move in and we could, you know, settle the rent and go from there. Well, after that, she moved in within that week, and...
Were you all dating still?
So when she moved in, I let her know that I wasn't trying to like have sexual relationships with her, basically. I just wanted to be friends and roommates, and she didn't agree with that. She was trying to sleep with me every single day after she moved in. Well, you know,
trying to, as in what? Like what?
Like I told her we could be friends, and we would hang out after I'd get off of work, and then when I was trying to go to bed, she would be trying to get in my bed with me.
How often?
Every night.
Okay, and what would you say?
Go to your room.
And that's what she'd do?
Not really.
Oh, she sexually assaulted you?
No.
She either did one or the other. If she was coming to get in your bed and you told her to leave, either she left or she was attempting to sexually assault.
She would leave after I would tell her like 3 or 4 times to go to her room. Yeah. So she was very annoying to the point where she would try to sleep with me. Well, it got to the point where I was very annoyed, and I basically put her on to my roommate, and she started sleeping with him. What does that mean,
put her on to him or her?
I said, hey, go sleep with him. And she did it. She went sleep with him. So
is that true?
Your Honor, that is not what happened.
Tell me what happened with regard to
this. Michael was teaching me cryptocurrency and NFT, and I had never really was introduced to that. So I trusted Michael. He was telling me the quick...
Ma'am, did you all date?
What was that?
Did you date?
No, we did not.
Okay, good enough.
We had no
all right,
relationships.
He's not
we were
telling
platonic
he's lying,
friends.
ma'am.
Exactly.
You never had sex.
We had one-time sex.
Okay, and then you never asked him to have sex with you again?
Correct.
Like, I told her we could be friends, and we would hang out after I'd get off of work, and then when I was trying to go to bed, she would be trying to get in my bed with me.
How often?
Every night.
Okay, and what would you say?
Go to your room.
And that's what she do?
Not really.
Oh, she sexually assaulted you?
No.
She either did one or the other. If she was coming to get in your bed and you told her to leave, either she left or she was attempting to sexually assault.
She would leave after I would tell her like 3 or 4 times to go to her room. Yeah. So she was very annoying to the point where she would try to sleep with me.
Plaintiff Tiffany Chevalier is suing her former roommate, who claims he and Tiffany had sex the night they met. And after they moved in together, she wanted to have sex every single night.
All right, go ahead.
So after she started sleeping with my roommate, you know, she would just be very annoying to me because I assumed she liked me. Well, she would be walking up to me, running her hands through my hair, trying to put stuff in my food, like just being like very immature and annoying to me, to the point where.
Did your roommate about it?
Huh?
Did you speak to the roommate she was dating about it? Did you at least just have some conversation about it? Hey, she's weirding out on me. She's tripping.
Yeah, I mean, he was fully aware, for sure. But
and he was still dating her?
They were sleeping together, yeah.
Yeah, and he never said anything to her?
He never said anything to her.
Okay. All right, he's sleeping with her. His good friend, she's trying to get into bed with all the time. Yeah. All the time.
Yeah, all the time.
Your good friend, who his woman is trying to get into bed with all the time, tells him, hey, the woman you're sleeping with every night keeps trying to get into bed with me. And he's just there,
Yeah, he didn't care.
Right.
So the room next to me was vacant. And I had my buddy moving up here with me, and he was gonna come move into that room. Well, she moved her stuff into the room. I even told her not to move into the room. On page 3, it shows where I told her not to move into the room and why. Basically, she went against my will and moved all of her stuff into the room. I got off of work, went home, and whenever I seen all her stuff in the room, it made me angry, I'm not gonna lie. And I got all of her stuff, but I put it back into her room with putting all her furniture back together. I did it in a nice, neat way, the way her stuff was already.
Put it in the room she was previously.
Where she was previously. After I did that, I went to Home Depot, bought new door locks for the inside room. Well, I changed the door lock and with the key.
one that she wasn't supposed to be
The one she
using.
wasn't supposed to be in. Well, I went to the gym.
Locks.
Yes, sir. I went to the gym, came back home the same day, and she had broke into the room. She was in there on the phone with her boyfriend that she had the whole time. Well, she was talking, saying all kind of things about me to her boyfriend. And I was telling her to get out of the room. We ended up getting into a little argument when I was telling her, like, hey, you need to get out of the room. She was just staying in the room. Like, she wouldn't leave the room. And I wasn't getting physical with her or anything. She ended up getting aggressive with me, started, like, hitting me and pushing me at that time. And that's when I told her that she needed to leave and just move out, basically. Well, she, at that point, was making threats towards me on the phone with her boyfriend. She was saying that she was going to get me jumped. And I even have proof of text messages that she made on page 5 and 6 of the text messages of her talking about the threats that she made.
She says, I already told him he has that room on the side. This is what you say. She says, moving in, you said I'd get that room and now I want it. Why you want your best friend right next to you? Your response, like I said, DT already coming, not arguing with you about that. So instead of informing her that that wasn't the agreement, you say, like you already said, I'm not talking to you about the agreement. I'm just going to do what I'm doing. Let's hear from you. So there's no evidence of what you claim. It's evidence of what she's claiming. Go ahead.
Your Honor, he is lying about that.
Thank you, though. Thanks anyway.
He is lying about that whole conversation about that room. That was the night that I had already moved my things into the room.
You point to your evidence, ma'am. He's showing me his evidence.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So if you go to page 3, Michael contacted me that if I didn't come that weekend to get my things, he would throw it away.
No, we're talking about moving into the room that he said you...
Oh, moving into the room, Your Honor?
Yes.
So if you go back to those pages, I had said that I never said anything about having him jumped. That was not a conversation with my boyfriend.
Please, can we talk about you moving into the room that he said was not for you?
Yes.
Do you have anything on here that discusses that?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you need more time? Because you keep telling me everything other than what I've asked you for.
I don't believe I have that printout, Your Honor.
Okay, and that's what we need for you to be able to convince me that you were entitled to move into the room, which he said you were not. But you say you were. He told you earlier that you could stay there?
Yes,
but
that was
you have no evidence of that?
Correct.
Okay.
I went to Home Depot, bought new door locks for the inside room. Well, I changed the door lock and with the
one that she wasn't supposed to be
The one she
using.
wasn't supposed to be in. Well, I went to the gym.
Locks.
Yes, sir. I went to the gym, came back home the same day, and she had broke into the room. She was in there on the phone with her boyfriend that she had the whole time.
Plaintiff Tiffany Chevalier is suing her former roommate, who claims he and Tiffany had sex the night they met. And after they moved in together, she wanted to have sex every single night.
What occurred after that? After you moved into the room and he asked you to leave, what happened?
So, Your Honor, that day before he had come home, I had already moved my things into that room before he said that DT was moving into that room. I left to take, said the other roommate, to jail. I came home and... So the other roommate, like he's mentioned, was going to jail. I was driving him to the jail. So I had left the house. My stuff was already in that other room. I came
illegally.
Yes, I came home and all of my stuff was thrown downstairs into the big room besides my bed and the desk. I had no locks were changed because I just walked into that door. He said I was breaking into it, but the door upstairs, the room upstairs.
The room that you had illegally occupied.
Correct.
And all he did was move your things out of there.
Yes.
He put the lock on the door you legally shouldn't have access to.
Correct.
Okay. And your things were still there when you got there. The locks were changed, but your things were downstairs.
Yes.
Okay. Were any of them damaged?
Not that I could tell.
Okay.
Just all of them was thrown into a very unorganized.
So far he's done nothing wrong. What did he tell me? Continue and we'll see what he did wrong.
So then he continued to scream and shove me out of that room I was sitting in because he had promised me that room. So I didn't think it was fair that he had unpromised me that room.
He said you didn't. The only evidence I have is that you said it. You said you had evidence that it would prove it and it didn't. So I don't know if he had promised you that or not. He didn't discuss that. You said it. And I have no evidence of him even discussing that. What happened then when you knew you weren't supposed to be in the room, or you forgot the discussion, or whatever the case might be, what happened then?
So after he had shoved me out of the room, I had called one of my friends and told him that he needs to come down here and spend the night with me to make sure Michael had not hurt me in any way. Michael was screaming in my face and I was very scared that he would harm me. So that was the conversation that Michael was hearing. I told him that I didn't want any harm upon me, so can you please spend the night with me? And Michael had assumed that I said that 7 people were coming to jump him, which I said no such thing. Then after the fact, I left town on the 17th. He called me for the rent. I gave him the rent. Then he kicked me out over the phone.
Why? Why did he say he was kicking you out?
He kicked me out. He just said, don't worry about anything. Get all of your stuff out of the house.
Okay. And he told you that when?
December 17th.
Okay. You have evidence of that?
No, sir.
Okay. And you say he called you, told you to get out, and then what happened?
Yes. And then since I had paid rent for December, I had 30 days to get my stuff. I was making arrangements to get a U-Haul or to have my stuff moved into a different house.
You had paid December's rent?
Yes, correct. Come December 12th, If you turn to page 3, Michael contacted me saying if I didn't come this weekend to get my things, he would throw it all away. I then told him that I couldn't come get my things until the next weekend. He then said, I have someone moving in. She's had her stuff over the months that I've said she could, which it had not been 30 days. And he said, don't bother, there's nothing for you at my house.
And he hasn't returned your property, won't let you have access to it?
Correct. If you turn to page 5, that is when he texted me, don't bother, there's nothing for you at my house. Okay. And on January 20th, when I had told him I was coming down.
What date did he say there's nothing for you? What page is that on?
That's on page 3, Your Honor.
And that date was?
January 12th.
Sir, what do you say to this?
I let her know multiple times, and she's lying about me calling her and telling her that I was kicking her out, because this was all in person. This same day that on the
December 17th.
Yep.
Ma'am. So on the 17th, he said that he wanted you to get your things.
Yes.
And you never did because you had paid for the month of December. And so when January came, which you hadn't paid for, if you don't come and get your stuff by this weekend, he tells you on January 12th, don't worry about it because we have someone moving in and we'll just get rid of it all. So what did you agree to do when he told you that? Come and get your things.
I had told him that I made arrangements to come get it the following weekend.
Okay, you have that here?
Yes, I do. If you turn to page 5. On January 19th, I said, we'll be coming down tomorrow. We want no communication with you or anyone in the house. He then says, don't bother. There's nothing for you at my house.
But you acknowledge he told you on December 17th.
He called me December 17th asking for the rent and to no longer come back to the house. I was trying to make arrangements to get a different house, taking those 30 days.
It's a lie.
Sir, so she shows evidence that January 12th, you told her you would be throwing her things out if she didn't come get it by the weekend.
Yep.
All right.
I'd left the house. My stuff was already in that other room. I came
illegally.
Yes, I came home and all of my stuff was thrown downstairs into the big room besides my bed and the desk. I had no locks were changed because I just walked into that door. He said I was breaking into it, but the door upstairs, the room upstairs.
The room that you had illegally occupied.
Correct.
Plaintiff Tiffany Chevalier is suing her former roommate, who claims he and Tiffany had sex the night they met. And after they moved in together, she wanted to have sex every single night.
And what did you do with her things?
With her things, I waited until the weekend. If you look on page 13, that was my reply. I said, I've already been nice to keep your things for 4 weeks. If you don't come by this weekend, then I will throw them away. Because my new roommate actually moved in with her things still there. And I had to throw them away as soon as she got there because she didn't have a place.
Threw her things away.
Yeah. I gave it to Goodwill.
And you thought you were within your rights to do that?
Yes, sir.
You felt she had abandoned it?
I felt that she had abandoned it, yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Well, as she says, that's a 30-day process.
It was over 30 days.
No, it wasn't. You prove it was. From what I'm saying, it's not. You tell me some counter evidence.
So it says...
You told her to get out when? Let's just start there.
I told her to get out on the 17th. I didn't throw her stuff until the 17th. It was the Sunday, that weekend.
You got proof of that?
I don't have proof.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go with her. She has proof. All right. What's your counterclaim for? $2,000 for what threats?
Because she was threatening to get me jumped.
And did you go to police?
No, I didn't.
That means you didn't take it serious. Have a good day. Your claim is dismissed, and yours is granted. He withheld your property or threw it away illegally. All right. Have a good day.
I would like to say that you are full of you are not the NFT man that I thought you were, and I would like everyone to know who you truly are and to stand up for yourself, honestly.
You are also a liar. I mean, just about everything you said was a lie, and I'm happy that you won, though. Congrats, you know. But hey, you are what you are, and you know what you are, so it's all good.
So does your brother. Have a great day.